Hi everybody, it's Sam at Mixed Up Craft. Thank you for watching today. So I'm going to be showing you how to make this amazing, I think it is, advent calendar. I have totally enjoyed making this. It has been so much fun. It's something that I've actually had the plan for a while. So the idea for this is basically every single box will fit a Tunnix tea cake. So you'll see there, they're about 2 1/8 squared. And or a Tunnix snowball as well, which would be really appropriate for Christmas. But I'm not sure if you can get them all individually packed. I think they are actually. No, tell a lie, I think they are. Anyway, check out the Tunnix snowballs because that's just marshmallow, whereas the Tunnix tea cake is marshmallow with a biscuit base. Both amazing. Anyway, enough of that. You know I love them. So I wanted to make an advent that was going to fit them in. So the shape of this has evolved because of the layout. I always wanted to have a scene. So here you'll see all these lights along the top. I've got these trees, I've got the artificial snow, I've got a little sleigh there with the rope to pull it. I've got my topper, I've got bunting, toadstools? Yeah, toadstools. And the trees here as well. So because I wanted this area, I had to kind of work this out, and then you just kind of build it up, and then it had this shape. So by just adding the roof, you have a house shape, and I love it. I love this. You should be really proud when you make something, and I'm really proud of this, and I'm really proud of myself that I was able to, you know, lay it all out and kind of start from scratch with it. So this is using white foam board. Now I've used it before in the past, and I haven't actually ever used it in a tutorial, or maybe I did on one. I think I might have on one tutorial actually. Anyway, it's a very, very lightweight, easy to use construction board really, and it's better to manage and use than grey board or chipboard. That's very heavy. If you do suffer with any dexterity issues and you maybe can't grip so well, I think you'll find working with the foam board much easier because little pressure is needed with a cutting knife to actually cut it. It's like cutting butter. As long as you've got a sharp knife, it's really, really easy to use. And the great thing about using this, and because it's so deconstructed, is that if you do make a mistake, you cut something wrong, then you can just recut it again. It's a very forgiving, I guess, project. So don't be alarmed when you see this. Those of you that follow me and know my tutorials, I break every single step down for you. So I have gone over the top with the decoration. I always do. Adding lights and things like that, you don't have to do any of that. But once you see the blank canvas and how you get to it, I think you'll be quite surprised. So, and I'll just show you what I've used. So its majority is the Christmas Tales. So the paper is the gingham, the red gingham here, and then the decoupage is what I've used for the topper. And the actual advent numbers are by Simply Creative, and they're these wooden ones, and I think they look really nice and just kind of tie everything together. Even the skinny tinsel, that's the Simply Creative. Everything will be linked below. And then on the back you will see the lights. So I've got one here and they turn on and off. Oh, I don't think I showed the one on the rooftop. There's lights running along here. There's a light there, there and there. So that's the one for the roof. So I just turn that one off, and then these two are for the little scene, and these are actually meant to go in a wine glass, and these are the stoppers that go in the top of the wine glass, and then the lights just light up a blank wine bottle. But they were £1 something each, I think, or two, maybe £1.99, something like that. Anyway, I thought they were great because they're lightweight and they're easy to use, and they just feed through a little hole in here. But again, I show you all of that. So yeah, I hope you like it, I hope it inspires you, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So let me show you how to make it. Okay, so first you're going to need 24 pieces that are 5 3/8 of an inch squared, and these are going to be for your little boxes, your trays. And just on all 4 sides you just want to score at 1 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so 1 5/8 of an inch, 1 5/8, 1 5/8 and 1 5/8. Like I said at the beginning, these have been made so that they will fit a Tunnix tea cake, but then you can put so much more in there as well. So that's the 2 1/8, which is what that middle square should be, is the size that I use for my Tunnix tea cake boxes when I'm doing like one on its own. Okay, so that's the scoring. Then you want to fold and burnish those score lines. Okay, and then choose a side, any side, because they're all the same, and you're going to cut down 2 of the lines there straight down to the first score line, and then this one here like so. The opposite side you want to do exactly the same. Okay, these scissors are sticky. These are my favourite scissors, and got red tape on them. How bad's that? But you can clean them, it's fine. And then you're going to cut wedges off of the outer squares. Okay, so just that one there. Leave the middle one. You don't need to do anything with that. Again, nice wedge off of there, because you don't want any of this poking out the top. And that one there, and then rotate it and do the same. Now you're going to do this on all those other pieces. Okay, so you'll have, like I said, 24. You may be able to squeeze 25. We shall see. You might be able to do something, you know, you might think up another way to add it in, but that's what you need. Then I'm just going to stick this together. So I'm just going to add some glue along one like so, and then just fold that under, bring it around, and just make sure you pull it, you know, kind of wiggle it around a little bit so you get it right flush with the top there. You see? If there is anything overhanging, then you can trim it, but it should marry up nicely. Just get rid of any of that excess glue there. Okay, and then I'm going to come to this side here. Again, add some glue, bring this one in, and again just slide it up because it will come up higher to the top. You see there I've got a nice front to the box, because all of my boxes slide out with the folded piece at the front. So this will be where we'll have our decoration and everything on. You don't have to, they're all equal sides, but because there's more of a reinforcement on this one, when you're pulling it in and out, I think that one's gonna, you know, just last longer, whereas here they're not reinforced. You can reinforce them by all means, but yeah, I've just decided to do it that way. So they're the, you know, that's what you want to focus on in terms of how it looks. I'm going to push that one in as well because it's easier to do. You know, so just look at each end and see which one you prefer from the other. So that would be your front. So these both, you know, marry up nicely. That one looks just as nice as that one, but that's what you're going to decide when we get to decorating them. So that's all you need to do. Now, if you want to go further and decorate inside and all that lot, when we get to that, you can do, but I'm just going to give you the measurements because I'm just going to decorate the front there, and that's it. So 24 of those is what you need. Next, we want to start creating the sections that the drawers are going to slide in and out of, the little home for them all. Now what I'm using today is this foam board. This is 5mm foam board. Keep that one there for a minute. And I pick it up from Hobby Base. You can get all different sizes. They do, I think the A3 and the A1 are the best value for money, because they did do, it was 4 A1 size sheets for £10. And just to give you an idea, I mean, it's not even all of it in here, but this is an A1. It's absolutely huge. And you can see already I've started to cut out of it, and I've only used this one for this project. I haven't done my back, I haven't cut the background out or the roof yet, but I'd still get it all within this A1 piece and still have plenty left over. And like I said, you can get A3, you can get A4, you can get all kinds of sizes, and you can get all kinds of colours. I liked the white because I don't have to decorate it too much. So inside, that's all the decoration you're doing. You're just folding over a piece of pattern paper on the front, because the white looks nice, and when you slide your drawer in and out, you know, it's just so much nicer. So that's why I've chose this one. So what you need is, the easiest way to cut this is using a cutting knife and a metal ruler. So that's what I've been using, and make sure you have a protective mat. It's very easy. It's like cutting butter. It's not like grey board, which is very, very hard, and you have to kind of cut it a few times. This will cut first time all the way through. It's basically 2 layers of paper and then a layer of foam, but it's a strong foam and it's a strong coated paper as well. Very, very strong stuff, and it's great for these kind of projects. So what you want to do is cut 4 pieces, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are 12 by 2 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and then along one of the long sides, I've gone for this one because it's nice and straight. I've just ran 2 strips of red tape on both sides. Then I've cut this piece here, which is 12 by 1 inch, and again you'll want 4 pieces. So whatever your pattern paper is, I've gone for this lovely gingham print for the whole of all my front kind of decoration because I really like it. So you'll want 4 pieces of those, and you're just going to remove the backing from here. And then you can use hot glue if you want. I'm going to use the hot glue when I actually attach it, but I'm using this glue here just along this side. Because you've got that 5mm, you've actually got a nice surface, obviously, for us to stick everything together, but also to attach the paper. And then you just want to sit it halfway over. Okay, so you just try and get an equal amount. The red tape I've used is 1/2 inch red tape, so it covers this perfectly. Must be just under 1/2 inch. No, it's not. It's 3/8 of an inch. Sorry, red tape. I was going to say, because otherwise this wouldn't cover it properly. But if you see there now where I've stuck it, just so it's in the middle of that strip. You're going to do this on all of these other 3 pieces, and then once that's stuck, or at least gripped, fold one side over, kind of pinch it down, and just work along, and it will cover that tape. And again, and it's great for hiding up, you know, hiding any bits that you might not be happy with as well. Like you'll see there, look, I've made little mistakes, but it's all going to be hidden in the back. You're not going to see any of that. And then fold the other side over. And you can just flatten the front. But now I've got a nice covered edge there. Okay, so you will have 4 pieces. Then you want to cut all these little pieces here. So for these, you're going to need 15 pieces, okay, that are 1 3/4 by 2 1/8 of an inch. And these pieces here are 1 3/4 by 1 inch, these pattern pieces. So again, you're going to need the same amount for that. All of these measurements and quantities will all be in my blog, so I always do say go and check the blog out and use that as your guide, and rather than, you know, listening here and having to wait and list everything, I'll have it already listed there for you. So you want those, and you want to stick it exactly the same way. So I've got one here that I haven't done, so again I've put the tape on the shorter side, okay, so not that longer one, it's on the 1 3/4 length, both sides, and then that's that piece that's 1 by 1 3/4, and again you're going to stick it over. If you curl it, it might help you wrap it around as well, so I didn't mention that actually on, oh, stuck to me, on this one here, but if you just grab it and just like that, okay, it just will help you. And again, I'm just going to run some of this glue and then just stick it on one side and then just wrap it all the way over. It's a bit easier on the smaller ones. If you've got anything overhanging, which I have there, then you can just trim it off. And this is why these have been getting so sticky, because I've used them a lot on this project today. But just trim off any of that. You're not going to see all this because it's the sides, it's going to be stuck against the rest of it in a minute. So 16 pieces. I think I might have said 15, it's 16 pieces that you will have. Okay, so then what we want to do is start sticking these down. So I'm just going to grab my hot glue, and you want to run a bead of glue all the way along here. Try not to add too much, just a thin bead of it. And then with one of the boxes, pop the box at the end there and pop this next to it. Now you want to make sure, I'll show you, I'll bring it up in a second. So that's in place. Move the box away once you do it, because if any glue oozes out like there, you don't want your box sticking to it. I'll just get rid of that. Now you want to make sure that when you stick it down that it lines up with the back, okay, that it's flush with the back piece there. And obviously everything's nice and straight. Get rid of that bit of hot glue on there. So yeah, just lay it down just as a guide, but now once my side goes on, that's going to slide in and out nicely. Okay, and then you want to go to the opposite end, because you want to get them bang on, because there'd be nothing worse than when you go to stick it all together and your boxes on the ends won't fit. So again, I'm just going to run a bead of glue just along there. Again, not too much. These are all going to help, you know, they're all going to hold each other once you put it all together, so they just need to kind of be held in place. So again, just sticking that one down. When I bring it up, can you see there's just like a little slither, tiny little bit of overhang. That's what you want, okay? And again, make sure that it's nice and flush with the back. All right, and then that one's going to go there. And then if you just kind of hold that in place, bring the next one to, okay, and then just pop that one roughly there, drop that one, and then you can just see, and I know that the box is going to fit, and I know they fit because I've tested it all, so I know this is the right width that you need. But again, just pop that box like so. I'm going to grab my hot glue again, very, very thin bead, lay that down, take it out, and again just focus on that back piece and obviously keeping it straight. Okay, so imagine this is this piece here without that on top. Okay, so this is this piece, and then you're going to stick another piece just like this. Do this again and stick it on top. So you just run hot glue along the tops of here and stick it on. Okay, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to attach this one to the bottom, and can you see it lines up? Now when you stick them together, you need to make sure that this all lines up. So what you can do is get a ruler and make sure that runs nice and flush with the side. Okay, then the other 4 that you'll have left over are going to go here like this, and then we're going to make a separate piece for the tops, but I need to see it all together before I add those pieces in. So what I'm going to do now is add hot glue to the tops of all of these, and then like I said, I know mine all lines up with these here, so I can use those as a gauge, but I'm just feeling on the side of my hand there that they're lined up, and then just push them all together. Now I know not everybody likes to use hot glue, and obviously it is really good for this project because it's an instant grab, but you can use your pin flare, the glue gel here, or you can use the silicone glue. You can even use these glues. Oh, that one's got an air bubble in it. You can use these glues. They just take longer. You just have to stand there a bit like this for a bit longer to hold it all in place. Okay, that one's a little bit wonky, but I'm sure it's not going to matter when it's all put together. That is bugging me. I'm going to have to try and move that a bit, but that's now what you should have. And then you want to do exactly the same with these 4 pieces. You want to line them up with these ones here, because you know they're going to fit that in, so you don't need to use that. And this is what I mean, you don't need to use that when you do all the other layers. Just line them up with each other, but you need to make sure that this is all it's all about getting it lined up. Okay, apart from that one which is really bugging me, but hey ho, we'll sort it out. So now I'm going to just stick these ones down at the top, because these are going to hold the 3 extra boxes. Again, always working with that back piece here. Okay, because if you've got one of these overhanging, it will throw out everything that you stick against this. It needs to be, you know, all flush, so that when we go to stick the base on, or the back, it's got something to stick to. So again, very thin. So I'm just going to do these ones. I'm going to just pop that to one side, and next you want to make these pieces, and these are going to be our side pieces at the bottom. So all of this section is going to be where we display everything, but these are going to go here, and these are what I've got to give you the measurements for. So I've already done that one. So you're going to need 2 pieces that are 5.5 by 2 1/4. And you will also want 2 pieces of 1 inch by 5.5 in the pattern paper, and just wrap it over along the long side, just as I've got here. So you'll have 2. Okay. Then you'll want 4 pieces, and these are 2 1/4 by 2 1/8 of an inch. Okay, because they just slightly sit back. Then you want 4 pieces that are 1 inch by 2 1/4 of pattern paper, and again wrap it all around like I've done. So for this, to get this one, make sure you get your spacing right. You just want to line up this one, because I've already done that, so I'll show you here. So imagine this is this one here. You're going to line it up there and stick that one down. Okay, so get that one stuck in place first. All you need to do is just line it up with that one there, and again make sure it runs nice and flush with the back. Okay, like so. And you want to stick these pieces in, and what you want to do is grab your box and sit it completely flush with the bottom here. Okay, and then stick one down. You want to leave a little bit of a gap above, just a little bit. Whilst you sit it there, I would then go and pop the next one above, just to check, and then pop that one there, because they do sit up against each other, and then hold that one, and then you can check that that's going to slide in. Okay, just check you've got your spacings. because I'd hate for you to, you know, stick one in wrong and then the others don't fit. So just find what works best for you in terms of sticking them all down. Alright, so I'm going to run again, nice thin piece of glue there, and I'm going to run the box completely flush with the bottom, and then I'm going to stick this. It will be set back slightly, just a little bit above there, just a little bit, and again just make sure that it's nice flush with the back. And pop the next box on top, grab another piece here. Okay, and then do the same on that side with this piece, which I've already done. So now I'm just going to stick that down. I just kept it apart just so you could see the shape of it and how you want it to look. So you can do them all separately and then stick them on towards the end, but I'm now just going to stick that one straight in. Again, make sure that back bit, I'm just putting my finger on the back here to make sure it's flush with this piece. Okay, so now once that is against something else, but that's how it will look. It kind of looks like one of those like little spice racks or something, some like kitchen storage. Next you want these two pieces here, and these are going to be for the sides here, and they want to go flush with this top one here, not right at the top here, because this is the roof is going to come down. So you imagine there my hands, that's where our roof is going to be. So you're going to stick it so it runs completely flush with this top one here and flush on the back. It will stick out slightly, it's supposed to. Okay, you want that to be overhanging slightly so that all of this looks like it's set inside this frame. And then it should, once we stick everything else down, but it should line up perfectly with with this here. Okay, I've worked out all the measurements. So this is when we've got a bit more of an area to obviously glue all at the same time, but you want to run hot glue along all of these here. Okay, and again it's flush with the top, okay, it's flush with the back, and all of those are flush with each other as well. Okay, so now you can see it really starts to take its shape and look straight. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this. It's coming together slowly but surely. Okay, and it's solid. This is such a nice, really strong piece. It's just that one there that's bugging me, but I think once I put everything in, it will be okay and I won't really notice it. Okay, so now I've just cut this piece here, which is to go on the top of this before we attach the roof. And this is 7.5 by, again, 2 1/4. And I've just, again, cut a piece of 7.5 by 1 inch and wrapped it around just like everything else. And that is going to stick perfectly over those. Again, making sure the back's nice and flush and you'll have it overhanging, which is what you want. Okay, so I'll stick that down the same way with the hot glue in a minute. And then I've got my base cut from that same piece, so I'll get the roof from that and I'll still have loads left over. So this is all from that A1 piece of foam board, and this is a piece of 4 by 14.5 inches, and this is going to go on the bottom. I just kind of roughly, now I've done it so I have like a 1 inch kind of border, you see, all the way around and on the back there. Now I'm going to have a lot of snow on mine because I'm going to have these trees down here once I put the back on. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is probably I'm just going to frame just the outside, and then once I put all the artificial snow over. So depending on what you want to do, but you may want to cover this completely. And I would just cover it like I would if I'm covering a mini album cover. So if you do want to cover it, then you're probably going to have to maybe join up 2 pieces of 8 by 8 paper, pattern paper, or, because what would that be? Yeah, so that would be long enough with the overhang, or you're going to have to put 2 pieces of 12 by 12 pattern paper together that's the same pattern. You know, something that's like a print like this would work really well because you wouldn't be able to see the join, and then you'll be able to wrap that all the way around. Just make sure you give yourself about a 1 inch overhang so you can wrap it under. Yeah, that's what you want to do. But I'm just going to stick mine directly onto this because I'm going to be adding a lot of snow. So yeah, I would rather have that white because the artificial snow is quite clear, but once you add it against the white background then you really notice it, and I want to pile it quite high. So that's what I'm doing for the base. So I'm going to stick both of those pieces down. So along, again, I'm going to add glue along there. If when you go to stick it down, so for example here, if your base is rocking or maybe something isn't slightly, you probably could afford to just take a little shaving off, because I did give you a little bit of room above your boxes. Okay, so I mean mine are okay, but if for some reason yours aren't, then you will have a bit of room to be able to move it around. So yeah, that's what we need to do next. Okay, so everything is stuck down, the base, all of this. Now I've got the roof. So I've gone and started to prep these two pieces here. So you're going to want two pieces that are 2 1/4. Now you may want 2 1/2. So mine is 2 1/4, so it is kind of just overhanging the same as like these pieces. But if you want your roof overhanging even more, see I've just got a little overhang here. If you want yours coming out even more, then just make that wider. I've done the length, which is 10. Mine's just shy because it was I wanted to get it from that same piece, but 10 will be obviously fine, because again you need to kind of decide on the overhang that you want. So once we stick that there, can you see the overhang here? I just think it looks quite nice. I like that amount of overhang. It's entirely up to you. I might have some things hanging down here, lights, things like that. But before you stick this down, you might want to cover underneath, because the top of my roof I'm going to do a different pattern paper. But when this is stuck down, you're going to be able to see inside here. I'll just bring that up there, can you see? So if you leave it like that, then it might not look that finished. So I've just covered the back. So if you want to do that on the underside, then you're going to want a piece that is 9 3/4 by 2. So I'm going to cut another piece to put on that. And what I also done is I've backed all of the sides. So exactly the same way as we've done everything else. So they're all 1 inch wide, but then they will be the length of this. So 1 inch by 2 1/4. And you'll want, although mine's 2 3, no, mine's 2 3/8 actually. I think it's 2 1/4 there, 2 3. I think that's just because of the bulk of the card. 2 1/4. But yeah, you'll want 4 pieces, because 2 on each piece, and then you'll want 4 pieces of the 10 by 1 inch, which will cover all those. So I stuck the 2 long ones on first, and then the sides. But I'm just going to cut another piece of that just to stick on the back of this one while that's drying. Now, also another thing is you may want to cover the inside of here and this top level here, because when you put that on, okay, remember it's always going to be flush with the back when we stick it down in a minute, so you have the overhang at the front, but you can see in there, see that? So you may want to cover that. I'm not sure if I want to yet, because I don't really know what else I'm going to do, but one thing I do want to do is I've got this raw edge at the top here, and I do want to colour that, so I'm just going to grab a kind of like a rusty red. I think I've got one here, and I'm just going to just colour in the top. I'm going to probably have bunting hanging off of this, so you won't really see it anyway. But just get a colour that's going to complement. There we go. Once that's over the top, I just think it doesn't look as white. It's quite disguised now. Plus, like I said, I'm probably going to have bunting running all up here, and you're not going to see any of that anyway. So next we need to stick it down. So grab both pieces. Now you kind of need to do them together because you want to make sure that you get this piece here in line with the middle of this. So if I used my board, so if I get that line like that, I know I want to keep it kind of there. But all you're going to do is add glue, hot glue here and here on these corners. That's what it's going to attach to, and then we're going to make a hinge with some more paper over the top of this to hold it together. Okay, I mean there isn't going to be any pressure on this. I mean I'm not going to lift mine by the roof or anything like that, and this stuff is so light, this weighs nothing, so yeah, again it shouldn't have too much pressure on it. So what I'm going to do is, you kind of want to make sure that point is in the center of this square. Okay, that is the main thing you have to line up. These are both the same length, so as long as you stay, you know, making sure that that sits within the center here, you will have equal overhang here and here. You just need to obviously make sure that you're pushing like this and joining the top. I'm going to put hot glue on the very top when I've stuck these two side bits down. So all I'm going to do for the minute is just put hot glue there and there. Make sure it's flush with the back as well, so you have to put your fingers down so you've got the overhang at the front. So it is a little bit fiddly, but you should be okay. If you want to use your gel glues and things like that at this point, you know, then you can do so, because we're going to have to hold it for a bit anyway. So I'm going to just go for it. So I'm going to run some hot glue. I think I've got it. I'm happy with that. Like I said, this isn't attached at the top, it's just stuck on those two pieces there. You can see how that's all looking. Once we put the back on, we are almost ready to decorate. I cannot wait. And I've just realised what I've done. Has anybody else noticed what I've done? I've put these on upside down. Damn it. Well, I'm going to have to go in somehow and cover that. I'll be able to do it, it's fine actually, because I can just slide it in. But yeah, don't do that. Although I love that print on top, so I guess maybe I will keep the roof that colour, because I'm going to add snow to it. But yeah, that should have been under there. Hey ho, we'll sort that out. Next, I'm going to make just a quick little hinge. So you want to make it the same width as this, which was 2 1/4, and I do maybe 2 inches, so you've got an inch on this side and an inch on that side. So I'm just going to cut a piece, and then I'm trying to keep this all in view. I'm going to add, I just can't, there we go, I'm gonna, so I can see, I'm gonna have to stand up. So I'm gonna add hot glue right in the gap there, and then a little bit here and a little bit here, and then I'm just going to sit this over the top. I'm not too worried about how, if it oozes out and stuff, because I'm going to be heavily decorating this. This is purely just to keep that all in place. So excuse me being so close there, but can you see now what you've got? Just take all that out. Just tidies that up and it keeps it in that shape. Like so. I think this looks really, really good. I'm so pleased, guys. Okay, now we just need to get that big piece on the back. Okay, so to do the back, you would still be able to get it from one piece of A1, but because of the way I've cut mine, see there, got a funny bit there and there, it just won't fit within this kind of area here. So I have had to go and cut another piece, and what I've done is I've cut it roughly in half, and then you're going to basically draw around your, and just get it all in here, you're going to draw around it, and what you want to do is you want to sit the bottom of this bit here on the, along the bottom of this here. Sorry, I'm really struggling to keep this all in. So you see I've sat this on the bottom here, so it's right at the back. Don't go down underneath this, you want to go right behind it there. And you'll see mine is, oh gosh, sorry. You'll see mine is nice and flush down here. This is the back. See here? You can just see. So you want to sit it right behind the house, and then, I say the house, well I guess it is, isn't it? Let the end of your house overhang over your table, your desk, whatever it is, keeping it nice and flush with the bottom, and then just draw around it. So I have already done it, I just want to show you where I'm drawing around. So you're drawing from underneath here, straight down, underneath this one, straight down, and then just go along the roof. Okay, and then when you lift it off, you'll be able to join this bit up here. And then you want to cut it. So I've just got my metal ruler, I've got my mat here on my desk, so I know it's okay to cut through. You might have to try and line it up a little bit better than what it is. I think that might be slightly off, so I'm going to go there, and then I can always trim it a little bit more if it's overhanging. So push down, push against your ruler. Like so. So I've got a nice line there. And then I'm going to go from there along here. I know I've got a bit of waste, I could have gone more towards the other end, but it doesn't matter. Just cut that bit away. Repeat that on the other side. Okay, so now we've got this shape, and then it should sit perfectly on the back, which it does. Now if you go around and you feel you've got anything you want to kind of trim away, then obviously you can, because once we stick this last piece down, you know, that is it. But I think I'm just going to straighten off some of I've kind of cut on an angle, so I'm just going to go around and just very carefully, you want to make sure it's nice and flat so that you can glue that piece on properly. See, that's much flatter now. That one feels okay. You do want it to be completely hidden. But what I would say is stick it down, because you can always trim off those side bits at the end. And even that top bit, I can trim that off even once I've stuck it down. So I'm going to stick this down. So, right, there's no way I'm going to be able to get the hot glue over all of that and stick it down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the hot glue around here and here, all around this bit. And then I'm going to put gel all on, I'm going to put this on all of the inside pieces, because I need to make sure this, as long as this outer piece is secure, then I'd be happy. So this stuff doesn't dry straight away. So I'm going to go and run a bead of this along all of these pieces, every single one. Okay, so that's that all in place. Then with my hot glue I'm going to go around it, but I'm going to try and go as fast as I can. Just focus on the outer lines, on the outer sides, because that's the most important part. If you get that all secure, then you know that it's bonded against all the other surfaces behind. Yeah, that's really, really good. I'm so pleased with that. So can you see how nice that is all along there? You can see it's completely stuck. And again there, I just need to trim this, it's overhanging a bit too much. And again along the roof there, that's all secure. I just need to trim it up a little bit. And inside, that solvent, that Kalau, the beacons, sorry, 3-in-1, is just doing its thing. It will just slowly set. But there is our calendar all ready to decorate. Oh, I love it. I'm so pleased with this. Okay, so I've been busy and I've gone ahead and done a lot of this stuff, but I've left one box to show you what I've done. So I've tidied up under here, but I just need to do this one here. So yours will already have been covered because you would have stuck it the right way, and then obviously you can decorate your roof, you know, however you want. Some of you might want to do the individual pieces of craft card like I did for the bird box, I think it was, or the she shed, one of those. Those boxes and that playlist and stuff will be linked up here because there's some nice ideas there. But when you put your boxes all in, you might find some of them are going to have maybe little gaps, some of them might not fit so well. Just that's how it's going to be. It's handmade. You know, if you can get everyone absolutely perfect, then, you know, well done. But if you don't, then what I've done is, so this is one here. So for example, there's my box when I put it in, okay, and you can see here it's got like a gap there, and it's a little bit more of a bigger gap there. So let me just pull that one back out. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of cardstock that measures 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, and you'll want to cut 24. Now if you do want to do 25, there is obviously plenty of room at the top here. I may do, I'm not sure, you'll see in the tutorial if I decide to. Anyway, with this piece of cardstock here, you want to stick it onto the front where you've got your reinforcement. You want to stick it on there. So I'm just going to stick that one down. Keep the glue kind of, you don't want to go right to the edge because it is going to overhang, and then stick it down and just make sure you've got an even overhang on all 4 corners. It will only be minor, but it will make a big difference. And as you can see, all of these look completely like perfect. I think they look really, really good. So that's that one there. And then with whatever decorative paper it is that you want to use, you want to add a mat. So this is 2 by 1 1/2. Okay, again I'm just going to add some glue onto the back and then stick that one in the middle, and again make sure you got a nice border. I decided to carry on using the same pattern. I just really like it, and I just figured that, you know, over the years, if my tastes change or something, I will always love red at Christmas, but at least it's still going to kind of match. So that's that now stuck down. Now these here are how I'm pulling them out. So these are little wooden advent numbers, and they're really handy, and they are these here. So you get 25, number 25's in there, because again I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but they are by Simply Creative. I shared these months ago. Well, not months, it's probably about 6 weeks, but anyway, I did share them a while back, and hopefully you'll still be able to get them. I know that I think Craft Stash have them online, Amazon, places like that, so I'll link it all below for you. And then there is my last number 15. Now they do have a self-adhesive foam pad on the back, but I've taken it off purely so I can just add hot glue, because again I want this to last me a long time. And what I figured was that the frame is going to last, it should last forever, you know, as long as this goes away in a protective box each year. If anything's going to slowly wear over the years, it's going to be the boxes, and I could make those again. So it's, yeah, I'm happy with this one. So then that one now can go in its home, and they just look so much neater. I absolutely love this. So you'll see there that I've started to just play around with the trees, and I've gone ahead and decorated inside here. I've gone a little bit short just up there, can you see? But by the time I add the snow and all the other decorations that's going to go on in here, you're not even going to notice. But you want to cut a piece of pattern paper. I've kept mine as this lovely snowy scene, like sky, because I thought, you know, it's a little outdoor scene down here, so once we start doing all that, then that background I thought worked really well. But it measured, so, because you might be able to just clip it slightly under, depending on how much stuck down when you stuck your back on. But you want to do maybe 7 1/8. I do maybe 7 1/4 first, and then trim down if you need to. And then it is by 5 1/2, but you might want to do 5, and I do maybe 5 5/8. Just again, I'd rather go a little bit bigger. And then I've done this piece under here as well. That one is 7 1/8, and that will be that length by 2 1/4. Okay, and then for these side pieces here, I've kept the same print again, and that is, ooh, you're looking at 2, because you would have had this kind of this edging that we put on. So just do 2 will be fine by 5 1/2. Again, all these measurements will be in my blog. Okay, then also I've gone and decorated the side here, and I've used the same papers from the pack, which I don't think I've even showed you yet. Is this one here? Otherwise I would have added it in at the beginning, but it's the Christmas Tales by Dovecraft, and it's amazing. I absolutely love it. So I've gone for this one here. So it's just got all the different sentiments really. You can see that it says the most wonderful time of the year, Merry Christmas. And again, I just thought something like that is going to kind of, it's not really going to date. I mean, this is a real nice vintage paper anyway, so yeah, I love it. But that there was 3 1/2, because I've wrapped it around so far onto the back, ready to decorate the back more, but I've got to add the battery pack and all that kind of stuff, so I've just left it like that. I mean, you don't have to cover it up, to be honest. I may not, but it's 3 1/2 by this height here, which is, you're looking at 11 1/2 to get it up in there. But again, maybe do 11 5/8 and then trim, because you know, yours may be just slightly different to mine. You know, you might have pushed yours down more, you might have just changed it up a little bit. So okay, so it's now the following day, because I just thought I'll get all that done and then I can just focus on, you know, all of the lovely details. So I've pulled some bits together that I think I'm going to use. Now for the lights, I picked up these here, which I thought was quite handy actually. So it's only small, but what it's intended for is to go inside a wine bottle, and then that's actually like your cork. But I thought it would work really well for this kind of scene. You should still be able to get that kind of thing around, but it's called an LED wire bottle topper light. I also picked up these, and you want to look for the rice lights. That's what these are. These are rice lights. They're just tiny little rice shaped lights, and these, I've got the warm colour as well. But these ones here are the same, but you've got 5 meters, it's just way too much. There's so much in there. So these are probably going to be used on another project. The battery pack's also quite big. It takes 3 AA batteries, whereas with these ones here, it's got 3 just small little watch batteries. And you can pick those big packs up from the pound shops and things like that. So it's easy to, you know, replace this. And I thought 2 of these, so I've got this one here. And just take that one off there. There you go. You can see they've just got on off, and what I'm going to do is on the back here, so I'm going to put a hole through so it comes through the top of here, and I'm going to thread the fronts of these through, and then I can just stick with some hot glue on the bottom, the two of those just on there, and it'll be easy for me to turn them on and off. I think it looks quite neat as well. So you'll see me do that in the video. Again, I'm going to put a lot of this on high speed in a moment. Then to decorate, I have the artificial snow. So this is the Simply Creative artificial snow, and I'm just going to paint using just some tacky glue here. I've just got the Collal, it's like a PVA, and I'm going to just paint it on with a paintbrush, and then just sprinkle this on and then let it dry and then build up on top. And I will build up more around here, so you'll see some of the bark but you won't see all of it. I want to try and disguise the wire there and just kind of keep building that up. So you know, that might, I don't know, I might go back to that like every few days or something. So you'll see it kind of laid down, and then I can do the rest as and when. I've also brought in the skinny tinsel, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do bunting hanging here with the trees. I want all the detail to really be kept in here, and kind of the rest of this to be kept quite plain. So I'm just going to frame the top of the roof here with the skinny tinsel. I quite like that. And then I have this bow, which is a pack. Again, really, really cheap. You get loads there for £1, and I thought that would look nice right at the top there. I think that looks really sweet. So that's my plans for the roof. And then just creating the little Christmas scene. So I've got the little sleigh there, which I'm probably going to paint up white and put some little string on so it looks like a proper little one that you can pull. And then I've got the little toadstools there, so I'm probably going to add a few of those. I don't have like a Father Christmas figure. It might be something that I'll leave a space for, and then if I can find something, but nothing's really caught my eye. This is the bunting, which is part of the Christmas Tales collection, so it matches. You can see it's the same print I've used there, and that's the same blue, but I might use the smaller ones, I'm not sure. I've also got the pom-pom trim. I've got the red and the white. I might end up doing pom-pom trim on the roof, I'm not sure. You're just going to see me play around, but I thought I'd show you the products and kind of talk you through what I'm going to do, and then you can see it all at the end. So I'm now going to crack on, have some fun, put a movie on and finish this off. So I have pretty much finished. I'm really struggling to fit this in, but if I just show you here, there we go. So I have all the lights kind of dangling down. You can't really see them like this, but when it's, you know, upright and you're looking at it, you can really see them, and you'll see it in the photos. I have some bunting just running along under here. I've done this little topper, which is from the decoupage kit from the same collection. And then I've got the 3 Christmas trees, toadstool, and there's that little sleigh which I just covered with some gesso, and then I used some of my distressed inks just to make it look a bit brown again. I've put some little you know, string on there so you can pull it, and then you've got another toadstool, and I've also added a tree here and here. I just thought that looked quite nice. And then what I've done is I've piled up the snow in the corners and here, and what I'd done, you would have maybe kind of seen me in this corner here, and I was kind of making a paste, so I was mixing that artificial snow with PVA glue and then just kind of picking it out with my fingers and pushing it in. So this is now all hard, but it's got that texture, so it still looks like it's fluffy snow. And again, I've gone around here, I painted the bottoms of the trees white, and then I just, when it would dry, I put some glue, and then I sprinkled more of the artificial snow over the top again, and you see there's loads of snow all in here. What I did is along here I just painted a thin layer, because obviously opening the drawers you're just going to obviously scrape it off, so I didn't put a lot on there. Then the lights I fed through, you would have seen that anyway, and now I have decided to do a 25 because it does just look too plain up there. So what I've got here is I've gone and done another box, so exactly the same size as all the others. You just need to cut another one, same mats and layers, same little extra piece on the front, and then that 25th. Then I've got these pieces. Now it should, if you followed my measurements and you've done it the way I've done it, it should all still fit, but you may need to kind of doctor these pieces a little bit. But what I've got here is, this is going to be for the top. So it's going to be like its own little enclosure. So if you see, it's going to kind of be like this. But we're working on angles because we're working in that roof part. Okay, so that's what I'm making. But you're not really going to see any of this, and my big bow at the top covers bits of it anyway. But this piece here is going to be for the roof. So let's do it on this side first. So this is 2 3/8 of an inch by 2 1/4. And then what I've gone and done is I've cut on an angle along the two sides here. Can you see if I pop it on its side? Maybe if I do it that way. Can you see it's like an angle? Alright, so you can see those angles. Then I've got these two pieces here which are for the sides, and these are 1 3/4 by 2 1/8 of an inch. Actually they should all be 2 1/8 of an inch. Oh, that's 2 1/4, but why couldn't it be 2 1/4? Is that going to fit, or is that going to stick out more than the others? No, 2 1/4, 2 1/8. It's not going to make any difference. So what I want to do first of all is I'm going to try and lay this, because I've got to try and show you, but at the same time I also need to be able to see what I'm doing. So pop your box in and work around the box, because it's going to mean you keep everything nice and straight. But you're going to have one of these, and whatever angle, so I've also cut an angle on the top of the longer side. So you'll see there's a slight angle there, and on this one there's a slight angle along that side there. So you want that one to go that side and that one to go that side. So the angle sits within the angle of the roof. Okay, and you want to stick these so they line up with these ones here as well. And then this piece, you are literally with the angles facing down, so the same direction as the roof, you're going to slide that in and it will wedge in, and you're just going to run a little bit of hot glue along there. So I'm going to pop a piece of, I'm just going to put a bead of hot glue along there, and I'm going to carefully slide that one in and just line it up. I need to stand up for this so that you can see it, but I can also see where I'm going. So that one there, keep it lined up with the ones below, just kind of get that in place. There we go. And then the box is going to sit, because it's got that little flap overlapping, so you want that to kind of come out in front of this, because that's where they sit. And then this one will go underneath, it's just underneath that little lip ever so slightly, so it lines up with that one there. So again, I mean, you might choose to do something different, you might make another different box shape. I know many of you will, you know, put your own stamp on this anyway. So again, I'm just going to slide that in there, just kind of squeeze it together so it will slide in now. Once the roof's on, it will stay in place. So, and then you can do a test first and just slide it in. I can see there that is going to wedge right in. I might just take that out for a minute just so I can see how that's going to work. See, it's not quite hitting the roof there. I'm not too worried because that bow's going to come down like that. But you can see there how it's all encased. So you do have to kind of, like I said, it is a difficult one because you're working with angles. But I'm just going to add some glue all down here and there. Make sure I don't get it on my ribbon. I need to tidy off the ends of my ribbon there, but now your 25 has got its home. Just tidy that up a little bit there. There we go. So that's it. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. I hope it has inspired you, you know, if anything. And if you do give this a go, I would love to see your versions of it. So remember to share them over on the Mixed Up Crafters Facebook group. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today and subscribe to my channel so you get to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye.